President Buhari is said that with more determination on the part of the federal government, the target of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty is realizable. President, in a statement by his spokesman, Malam Garba Shehu, at the inauguration of the first National Agricultural Land Development Authority at the Integrated Farm Estate in Suduje-Daura, said that Nigeria was blessed with both human and natural resources it could deploy to achieve that target. Joining us to discuss further, Gospel Obele, who is an economist. Gospel, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. What do you make of what the president is saying here with agriculture as a means to lifting 100 million people out of poverty?
Well, technically, it makes sense, but determination is good, but determination without a productive mechanism would still be, would still not yield any meaningful results in a sense. So there has to be a mechanism, a clear, productive pathway, to how we can achieve this. All right, infrastructure is important, human capital is important, access to market solutions is important, access to finance is important, and every other different farm-to-market dynamics that has to be in place. So that productive mechanism should be where we should emphasize more of the energy than talking about how much of land we have available or human or material resources and all that. Human or material resources without being plugged into the main productive stream, all right, for impact and for processed products and services would make no sense at the end of the day.
We just saw images of the central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, at that same inauguration. He was saying that, he talked about the Anchor Borrowers program, also said that the central bank wants to deploy resources to kick off the NALDA. I guess it makes sense for that support to keep going into agriculture? Or what do you make of it?
Of course, it makes sense, but at best the CBN can only do much around the financing bit and all that. But in my own opinion, I think the CBN is a bit stretching and trying to complement for the fiscal indiscipline we have in the country at the moment. So the CBN needs a lot of co-institutional support to pull off its financing strategies properly if the economy will recover. So it's beyond just, like I mentioned earlier on, talking about how much has been pumped into and to who. We need to be able to move a critical mass who are either farmers or who are in that program, right, into the mainstream productive value processing angle, all right, and ensure that farm to market is properly locked down. And I don't see the CBN being able to pull that off as an institution
by itself. Gotcha. I want to move to tourism. We've seen this, the flights, increasing, I guess, to those destinations, Yola, Kano, and so on and so forth. I mean, I know this is demand driven by religious holiday, but what does it say about, I guess, boosting domestic tourism within Nigeria?
Well, quite honestly, since the pandemic has started, I mean, we did some intense work around the hospitality and tourism sector during the pandemic, and we realized that people are beginning to think of local tourism as an option. All right, Nigerians are beginning to look inward. All right, but the big catch here is that we've not been able to position the story, or we've not been able to sell that properly, all right, as a marketable opportunity for Nigerians and for businesses to tap into. Well, small businesses have started doing all that in their little way, but, we need more than that. The government and all of its institutions have to push this as a major thing that, all right, we can use to unlock domestic growth and development in a sense. However, with growing travel aspirations and people seeking to build their travel portfolio and the likes, I think it's an industry that has come to stay.
Excellent. Now, that industry coming to stay, can you have a conversation around developing its domestic tourism again without addressing insecurity?
There are a lot of things to address. I don't think we have a standard national tourism strategy or policy in a sense, all right, that shows clear pathways on how we want to unlock all of our different potentials in this space, all right, and also harness the subsectors, all right, that are interdependently locked or interwoven in the sense to help, bring back about that growth and development. So there has to be a clear plan. Infrastructure has to be in view. Insecurity has to be dealt with, all right, and we also need to deal with the cultural and behavioral patterns around how we engage. So, for instance, you visit an hotel somewhere, in the country, and the experience is so poor, all right? So we can't have all of that in different pockets and you expect tourism to grow, no matter the amount of infrastructure you have. So the people or the SMEs or players in these different spaces have to do the homework in terms of cultural and behavioral patterns that must be in place to enable infrastructure and tourism development to a large extent.
For word of mouth, do you think Nigerians amongst ourselves talk up our tourist destinations in the same way one would say they're going overseas for a vacation? What are that elements feed into the wider narrative of boosting tourism?
When you compare it to outbound and all of that, definitely no. But there is a rising narrative around group travels and young people who are seeking to explore their interesting areas within Nigeria. Don't forget again, because of the fact that Nigeria has not been able to properly, through vaccines now, unlock our readiness to jump into the global recovery pool, all right, there's still a lot of restrictions for Nigerians when it comes to travel and engaging the external world and all that. So, but people want to travel and want to enjoy being in Nigeria in the sense. So these issues, yes, have to be resolved, but then again, there has to be a bigger catch for why. You know, the big question around why has to be in place. There has to be a theory of change around how do we move from where we are to where we want to be, and all the institutional elements must work together to achieve that.
Fantastic stuff. Gospel Obele, thank you so much. We didn't get to Tunisia, but we'll hopefully get to that another time. Economist, thank you so much for talking to us about
Thank you for having me.
lifting people out of poverty and also tourism, boosting tourism in Nigeria. Appreciate it.